Okay, so here I'm just gonna show you how you factorize. So whenever you factorize a polynomial like this, you always look at the constant and the number that's here. But since here it's just 1, you don't need to worry about that. We only want to factorize x cubed plus x squared minus x minus 1. The factors of 1 is just 1 and 1, right? And that's the only factors available. And then what you're gonna do is plug in plus minus of the factor. And now let's start with 1. If x equals 1, that means that we'll have 1 cubed it's 1, and 1 squared it's 1, and we'll have 1 here, and then we'll have 1 there. Notice that this will be minus 2, and this will be positive 2, and positive 2 minus 2, that will be 0. So that means that x equals 1 will be a solution of this if it was said to be equals to 0. And if you take this 1 to that other side, that means you'll have x minus 1 equals 0. And from there, that means that you'll have x minus 1 as a factor of this whole thing. And now, since this is just degree 3, that means you'll have a maximum of 3 terms in here because it's degree 3. So you'll have a maximum of 3 terms in here. Okay, so you'll say x cubed divided by x, then you'll have x squared. And you'll say minus 1 divided by minus 1 is going to be positive 1. Now we are short of 1 term. Remember I said a maximum. It's not always the case where you'll have a maximum of 3 terms. Sometimes it can be 1 or 2, but a maximum of 3. So now notice that here if you multiply the 2, you'll have minus x squared. But notice that here we don't have minus x squared, we have x squared. So you'll say b minus x squared will be equals to x squared. You just say b is what you want. B will be what you want basically. So and then you'll have what? You'll say b plus this term plus minus x squared will be this term that's here, which is just x squared. So that means that we'll have b equals 2x squared. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this term and you divide it by this term that's here. So 2x squared divided by x is gonna be what? Positive 2x. And remember I said there's only a maximum of 3 terms, so that means you're done. So that means that when you factorize x cubed plus x squared minus x minus 1, you'll get x minus 1 and x squared plus 2x plus 1. But we can also factorize this because it's also a perfect square number, so you'll have something like this when you factorize this, because this one is a perfect square number. Okay, so now let's see if we can factorize this one now. So you look for a constant in this term that's here. So now the factors of 8, it's 1 and 8, 2 and 4 there. And then first let's neglect this one. So if we don't get the solution here, then we'll take that into consideration. But for now, let's just neglect it. So if we plug in 1 here, we'll have 4 minus 18 plus 8, which will not be 0, even if we plug in minus 1. And here, if we plug in 2, we'll have 4 by 2 to the 4th. 2 to the 4th is 16. 16 by 4 is going to be 64. And 2 squared, that's 4. And 4 by 18, that's going to be 4 by 18. 18 is the same as 16 plus 2, so it will be 64. Okay, let me think on that. 16 by 4, it's 64. And 2 by 4, it's 8. 64 plus 8, that's going to be 72. Then we have 8. This minus this will be minus 8. Then we have plus 8, and it's going to give us 0. So that means that x equals 2 gives us 0 for this equation here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take that other side, then we have x minus 2 being the 0 value of this. And now since this is degree 4, we're going to have a maximum of 4 terms here. Not always the case, but a maximum of 4. They can't exceed 4. So we'll say 4x to the 4th divided by x. That means you'll get 4x to the 3rd. And then you'll say 8 divided by minus 2. Then you'll get minus 4. And then you'll say 4x cubed multiplied by minus 2. You'll have minus 8x cubed. But notice that you don't have minus 8x cubed here. So you'll have b minus 8x cubed equals 0, since there's no term with x cubed here. So that means that b equals 8x to the 3rd. So when we have b being 8x to the 3rd, we divide it by x, then we're going to have 8x squared. And now 8x squared multiplied by minus 2, that's going to be minus 16x squared. But notice that here we have minus 18x squared. So that means that b minus 16x squared is equals to minus 18x squared. So when you take this that other side, then we'll have minus 2x squared. Then you divide minus 2x squared by x, then we'll just have minus 2x, minus 2x. And then you can check if this one is factorizable, and then you can like do the same procedure like that. And notice that the reason I'm stopping here is because I already have 4 terms. It's degree 4. So in the other bracket, you'll have a maximum of 4 terms. So that's it. That's the only reason why